All right, hello everyone. I know you're probably all here for your first video, so maybe a little bit of confusion. But these videos should be very well made to let you understand what the grammar is really all about for this first unit. For those that don't know me, or if you do, my name is Licenciado Joel Walter Salazar Newman. I am an English teacher. I teach all types of English, including technical Englishes, and I'll be covering the videos for units 9, 10, 11, and 12. Well, pretty much going and taking care of you guys' classes. Don't forget, we'll have the Zoom conference calls for any kind of questions, any kind of anything that I leave out from the videos. I guess I'm making my videos a little bit longer than other professors just because I feel like there's a good amount of stuff to cover on the grammar, and I like the way I'm doing this. So, again, any feedback, any questions, any problem solving, some of these presentations might have problems to solve. Zoom conference calls are really going to help a lot. And don't worry, we're going to have various Zoom conference calls during the week. You can do it from your computer, you can do it from your laptop. I believe I added that to the teacher introduction. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Unit 9, right? The first chapter you guys been going to. Talks about past continuous, right? Past continuous. I like this presentation because it shows you a little bit of a visual of what is the past and what is continuing to happen and what is the now, right? That's what past continuous is about. I always try to tell people that the name of the grammar tells you a lot about how the rules are going to work out, right? So let's continue. Here's some examples. This is why I didn't like the camera thing too much. It gets a little bit in the way, but let's just say past continuous, right? Don't worry too much about it. Clue words at 9 o'clock, all day, night, last Monday, while, as. So, here are some examples using past continuous. Don't forget that most of this past continuous is focusing on the was and the were as well, right? Was and were is the past form of the verb to be, which is, am, or are. I am, she is, he is, I was, you were, they were, she was, right? So that's important to know. And don't forget, past continuous, the ing, right? The ing in the verb. So just take a pause in the video. I'm not gonna go through all of this. I feel like my videos are long enough as it is, but I try to cover everything. And obviously, you should be looking at this with your book, with some notes, and hopefully you watch these videos a few times, right? We put a lot of effort into them. Please put effort into watching them and learning from them as well. Just how we have classes 2, 3, 4 times a week, and depending on what school you're going to, you should be watching these instructional videos 2, 3 times, and then going over the homework a few times, then going over the homework maybe with your teachers during the conference calls, right? Not too much. You should always learn to practice on your own between the videos and the homework. You should be fine. Past continues. They were camping last weekend. So forget the past of am, is, or are. The past for they is were. And then the verb with the ing. And here are some negative examples. As you can see, the negative form is very simple. You just add the not after the was or were. Don't forget, you could also unite those. Was not could be turned to wasn't, and were not to weren't. All right. So, as you can see there in that example, that is exactly what I was talking about. You just put together the was not turns into wasn't, and the were not to weren't. Past continuous, negative. They weren't paying attention to the teacher. In this situation, you cannot say they were paying attention to the teacher because look at them. They're not looking at her, they look bored, they're totally distracted. So you have to write the proper sentence for the situation. So that's why it's very important to know how to write past continuous and negative because you will be using it. Interrogative. Interrogative. What are some key things or key changes that you see in this one compared to the other two that we saw? If you want, you can take a pause, go back to the other two, and compare it to this one, and try to answer it on your notes. All right, let's go ahead and answer it together. Hopefully, you went through some of those pauses. Very simple. And this applies to a lot of interrogative formats. You just switch the I, you, we, they, he, she, it after was or were, right? You're usually switching the first two words that are going on. Usually you put I, you, we, she, he, it before, for the exception of who, what, where, why, how, and when. Those always go first. So, for example, if I wanted to add what has to go before. So you have to say, what was I reading? And that completely changes the question. Because was I reading is asking, hey man, was I reading something? I don't remember. And if you're asking, what was I reading? You're asking specifically, what is it that you're reading? You could also ask, where was I reading? And that's asking for the location. Totally different question. So don't forget that in questions, interrogatives, the who, what, where, why, how, and when always go first, and they change the question completely. Let's continue with this example. Where were the children swimming yesterday afternoon? No, they were playing. So don't forget response and negative. No, they were playing. You could also say no, they weren't, but they said no, and then they said something that they were doing. Right? All right. We use the past continuous to describe an action that was in the progress at a specific time in the past. Like I said, in progress. Here's a specific time, here's the past, and here's the now. And it is continuing, right? What were they doing at 6 o'clock yesterday? These are some examples, and you could use these exercises to write on your book, your notes, right? For example, she was playing guitar. They were running, or you could say they were jogging, or they were exercising. They were traveling, or they were trailing, they were camping. The boy, or he, was watching TV. All right. Pauline was playing guitar. Mike was watching TV. Sarah and Henry were hiking or taking a hike. And Kathy and James were playing games. They were training together. So that's a little bit different how I said it. Obviously, a lot of these pictures could be interpreted in a lot of ways. You could also say they were having fun together. Was it raining in the morning? Yes, it was. Different example. Past continuous. We use the past continuous to to talk about an action that was in progress when another one interrupted it. So a little bit of a different way to use past continuous. right? It's a little bit of a longer presentation, guys, but don't forget, past continuous does have quite a few ways to use it. So I believe it's just mainly these two ways. So let's continue on. She was reading a book when the alarm clock rang. While Mary was writing the email, the computer suddenly went off. Don't forget that separation in the comma. This is the continuous and this is the past. The girls were walking to school when Jason appeared. Appeared, ed, past, the word of transition when. That's why you don't need a comma. You could also say when Jason appeared, comma, the girls were walking to school. But it makes a little bit less sense that way. Uh-huh. It depends on the sentence. Usually, when you put the continuous first, because usually that's what's going on, and then suddenly something happens, right? She didn't see anyone. Uh, she didn't see anyone known while she was running. I would say she didn't see anyone she knows while she was running. I think that sounds better. When you called, I was listening to music. When you called, I was listening to music. I believe there's supposed to be a comma there after the when you called. I was listening to music. You wouldn't need a comma if it was after, if it was the other way around. I was listening to music when you called because the when takes the place of the comma. So there is a small mistake in this PowerPoint. Just add a comma right there. It's okay though. Human mistakes sometimes happen a little bit, and it's good to stay on your toes when watching these presentations and listening to what I'm telling you. All right, third way of using it. Frank continues to talk about two actions that were in progress at the same time in the past. So getting a little bit more complicated. He was looking at Rose while she was reading a book. Word while. The word while makes that both are in continuous. They took many photos while they were visiting a new city. So again, the key word to this kind of rule is while. So they both stay in past continuous. Well, here they say they took many photos. So that is in the past. Obviously, some interchangeables. While Charles was reading, Suzanne was solving math problems. What were you doing? While I was cleaning the kitchen. Obviously, the man didn't know what to answer. Fourth one, we use past continuous for activities as background description. It was a dreadful morning. The snow was still falling. The wind was blowing and the cars were skidding on the icy roads. So again, to be very descriptive, right? It's a fun way to use it. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. Descriptive. Like you're talking about a meal. The meal was delicious and the service was excellent. Past continues with words such as always, constantly, or constantly express the idea that something irritating or shocking often happened in the past. He was always coming to class late. That means it always happened very often. She was constantly yelling. She annoyed everyone. It is important to remember that non-continuous verbs cannot be used in any continuous tense, like love, hate, want, need, prefer, know, suppose, mean, believe, understand, seem. Instead of using past continuous with these verbs, we must use past simple. All right, guys, that is it. Don't forget we covered a little bit of extra information. Just focus exactly what is on the book. The book covers more on what might be on the exam. But again, if I'm going to present to you guys about the grammar of past continuous. I always prefer to be a little bit thorough. I feel like the book covers a little of the basic. You have the book available. You have these notes available. I want to give you more than what normally is, right? And don't forget the Zoom conference calls. You can always ask any questions. And if these videos seem a little fast, just go through them again. Please watch them a few more times. I have to catch you guys in the next video and hope you enjoyed this first video covering Unit 9 past continuous. Take care, guys, and take care of your health.